Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Meeting is being recorded. I'm waiting for RJ. She's my special guest tonight. She's trying to, hold on.
I feel like your sound is a little choppy.
Thank you for telling me. Apparently, I got a parking ticket and I didn't know about it. She just texted me that I gotten two this week. I need to get my residential permit. My hope is that I can say, I live there. Can I not pay these? Do you want to ask me some questions if no one shows up so that this can be like a recording about solstice? Okay. That's also kind of why RJ is coming over. Does my sound better now?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. I'm gonna give her one of the AirPods.
Can you close your oh, I see. Your plants are cute, but I can't see your plants because you're there. And I was like, can you close the door there? Or is that a doorway?
No, there's no door.
Oh.
It's just like an arch.
Nice.
I usually am here, so you can see these plants, but there's a chair here for her.
Oh, she's like gonna literally be there.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Usually I find a spot. Ooh, I'm a little sad I got a ticket. It's okay. Hi, Katherine. Welcome. Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm Raeme. Good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Awesome. I'm so excited that you're going to be in Solstice, and I'm really happy that you're here tonight.
Me too. Sorry, I have to take the dog out, so I'm outside.
No problem. I'm kind of stalling getting started because I have a special guest that's going to be here in my apartment with me, and she's looking for parking right now. Feel free to introduce yourself. This is Sydney. She has a guest pass to Solstice, so she doesn't participate in the workshops, but she comes to the artist talks. And so we'd love to hear like a little bit about you as an artist and kind of introduce yourself to the space.
Are you talking to me?
Yes, I am.
Oh, okay, sorry. I can't see who else is on here, so.
Just one other person on right now, just me and one other.
Cool. So I'm Katherine, and I don't even know where to start. I've just done art as like hobby for the most part, aside from having like Etsy shops and stuff, but I haven't like really dug deep into it. So
tell me about your Etsy shops that you've had.
Say that again.
What kind of Etsy shops have you had?
I used to sell these weavings, like fiber weavings.
Nice.
Like wall hangings, I guess I'd say.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I want one for here. I want like a driftwood one above my bed.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Very cool. And then what do you do as hobby? Is it the same type of thing, like working with textile and fabric, or do you do other like mediums when it's more like hobby art?
I'm starting to do like more painting and stuff.
Awesome.
So yeah. Hold on, I have to mute just for a second.
No worries. Sydney, do you want to talk a little bit about your creativity and what drew you to this space?
Yeah. I like to do a lot of like textile embroidery and like printing, and like now I'm getting into jewelry. And I would like to be able to like market some of it and sell it, but I'm not sure in like what capacity, because I also run a business as a full-time job that doesn't include those things. So kind of like, how can I make this hobby that I enjoy, like really fun, but also like my side hustle would be really nice. Yeah.
So just kind of like monetizing your creativity without it becoming like stressful necessarily.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
like
And
sharing it in a way where it's valued, right?
right. And I think like I want to like carry that like easy is right kind of mindset where like that like having like 100 real fans is like better than like 1,000 followers or something, you know? So really exploring like alternative ways to like market and try to sell creative things.
Super cool. Aubree, I see you joined in. No worries on lack of camera, but we're just kind of going around and introducing ourselves and sharing kind of our creative mediums. I was wondering if you wanted to do
Yeah, but I can't see the video. I can only hear.
That's fine, no problem. There's two other, oops, that's my puppy. There's two other people in the group right now. Katherine is enrolled in Solstice, and then Sydney, who has a guest pass to our live access programs.
Sorry,
my
I
dogs
didn't mean to be talking. I wasn't talking to y'all.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. That sounds like I was yelling y'all. No, I was talking to my dad.
Oh, okay, no problem.
Okay, give me 1 second. Sorry, I just.
Collect yourself. There's no rush here. Also, this is officially like my art and wine night that I try to do twice a month, and this time around we're doing it as an info session for Solstice, but I still have my wine, drinking a glass of rosé. Anyhow, and then I hope my good friend who is a very neat lady is on her way over. I hope she's found parking and will pop her head in soon. But anyhow, I'll share a little bit about myself. So my name is Raeme. I have a degree in history of art and visual culture that I got from UC Santa Cruz. It was a very different approach to art history, and it really informed the things that I do. So I don't look at art necessarily for aesthetic value, although I do really appreciate good design and good aesthetics. My approach is a lot more about the function of art and the place of the artist in culture, and kind of where that line gets blurred between art and commerce, between the artist and the self, and also between the way that we interact in the world and the messages that we're given visually. So it's a little bit of a unique approach, but I find that it's very helpful for people who are interested in upping their game a little bit with confidence and with purpose, because it really empowers the maker to, similar to what Sydney said, like having a range of interests, but really wanting to find a place to put them. So when we start with intention as artists, we're able to really explore our creativity in ways that we haven't before because of some rules that folks have put on what it means to be creative and what it means to make art. So we try to break down those rules in Solstice Synergy, and we do that with a variety of tools. Mainly the technology is based on women connecting with one another in sacred space and in ritual, but not solely around, oh, I made this, but why I did it, my process in doing so, and what happens next. We support each other every step of the way, and we kind of have mini assignments and partners throughout the process to really make sure that we're being accountable to ourselves as creators. And part of that accountability is building up the confidence to kind of be exactly who you are as a maker. And my special guest is here. Dogs are freaking out, so we'll just give 1 second. I'm gonna mute while we all get settled. We'll start it. All right, this is my good friend RJ. She's been a client of mine for quite a while, but we also have really great connection as friends. And she was a big part of my life in Santa Cruz, which I was just talking about as kind of my creative background. And so I thought it would be nice to have more in-person stuff going on in my life, just because things have been so shut down. And now that we can interact with people here in California, just wanted to bring a little bit of extra touch tonight. So yeah, she's gonna come get settled. But Aubree, I wanted to see if you have space to share. I don't know if she can hear. So Sydney, I'm going to put you on the spot for a second. I was wondering if you wanted to talk a little bit about any of the lectures that we had last cycle. I know that you saw one with Sarah Hornsby that you mentioned being excited about, or if any of the other ones that you came to spoke to you.
Yeah, I felt like, well, I like to listen to like people have conversations about things I'm interested in, like while I'm doing my job, which is gardening. And so that's how I kind of approached listening to Rame's teachings. And I just felt like I was hearing like a really different type of conversation between women about subjects that I don't often hear them talking about. And so it was just like really thought provoking, and like in that way, like kind of opened up my like pathways of creativity and like how I kind of like my mindset more like approach. I wasn't working on something specifically, so I was kind of just listening out of interest, and it was really, really interesting. So yeah.
We've got RJ mic'd up now. Do you want to share a little bit about your academic career or any of our work that we've done together in the past?
So I actually recently just graduated from LA, and I really feel like during the pandemic, it was really difficult for me to stay motivated and on track because online working just really doesn't work for me. It's not really in line with my learning styles. And I feel like having Raeme as a coach or as a tutor, as it were, really helped keep me on track. I honestly don't know if I would have graduated on time.
You would have graduated.
Catching that really guide me and set goals and push me to accomplish things. So it's really great.
It was fun. I felt like I got to go to UCLA for a little bit too. And we did a lot of work around like women's identity, and there was a lot of crossover between like sociology and culture and art. And so kind of maintaining that side of like the theory of relationships amongst women was very helpful for me in kind of developing the curriculum for Solstice. Yeah, let's see. I'm gonna just kind of start sharing a little bit of the like logistical information about the program, but if anyone has any questions at any point, just jump in, unmute yourself, interrupt me. But yeah, so we are starting, hey Aubree, we are starting next Saturday.
Okay,
Next
I'm
Sunday.
sorry about that.
It's okay. Do you want to share a little bit about your art and your creativity and kind of introduce yourself?
Yeah, I can try. I'm not sure exactly what you want to know, but I don't really have like a business around my art. That's kind of what I'm looking to change, I suppose. I paint and I write, and I've kind of done that forever. I haven't really been painting a lot in like the last 2 years, pretty much. So I'm hoping to change that. That's about it, I guess. I don't know.
Aubree actually hopped
If you
in
have any
and
specific questions for me, I'd love to answer them.
I'm going to fluff you up for a second, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
You actually hopped in and helped me when I was on deadline last week with this crazy project I was working on for a client. And it was so nice to have your voice in the in that kind of community of crazy writing that we had to do at the last minute. And, you know, you kept sharing with me like, oh, you can change what I have to say, or, you know, let me know any feedback. But literally, like, you kind of got the vision right away, and then you were able to run with it. And I feel
That's
like
nice.
talented. Oh, of course, yeah. And talented writers, it doesn't matter if you're being a creative writer or if you're being, you know, a technical writer or writing opinions. It kind of shines through. So even if that's not your like forte, those types of like academic papers, like you still had that kind of writer's flair, and so it's really wonderful to see. Yeah, and then you've also shared a few paintings in the Slack group, and you know, you're welcome to talk to us about your process a bit, or how you kind of find inspiration.
I kind of just I use my art kind of to purge feelings that I'm having, like I have a lot of anxiety and stuff like that, and that really helps a lot. I kind of just go for it. I don't know, I find a lot of inspiration in kind of just every part of life, I guess. There's not like one specific part of life, just kind of everything that I'm into.
Yeah, I mean, that's wonderful to be
I'm excited to share more, and you'll probably be able to see where some things come from. I don't know. I use a lot of animals and like some sacred geometry type things, but not like perfect.
Oh, I mean, I feel like
I
art
love
is like
focusing on like imperfections and
love
like
that,
flaws in life. I find beauty in that a lot.
awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. I'm really excited to see like where your work evolves.
Yeah, me too.
The program, like last time it was the first time I did it last time. So this is our second cycle. And I was
Yeah.
just blown away by some of just the mindset shifts and the productivity that my clients brought about. And so I think that you're going to thrive in this space. I'm really confident in that.
I'm excited.
Yeah, so I was just going to kind of share logistics, but I was just saying, like, feel free to hop in if you have any questions.
Okay.
But we're starting on Sunday the 27th, so a week after the solstice. Enrollment is going to close on Monday on the 21st. So anyone who is in by then, we're going to all kind of work together. And then next cycle will open up for the winter solstice as well. And so we'll either have a Sunday group or a Monday group for you. You get to kind of choose. I'll be sending out some surveys pretty soon so that you can indicate what you're excited to work on, how you want to work on your creativity, what you want from the program, and then you can also select which day of the week you want to meet with your smaller group. Then on Thursday evenings, everyone who's in Solstice, so even past members, folks like Sydney who have guest passes, RJ will probably have a guest pass too, we'll all be able to come together and learn from another teacher. So I've tapped my network of creators and people who I think have a unique lens on how they do what they do. And the groups in the beginning of the week will be kind of aligned with the way that these artists think and make things so that we can look at the theory and then we can get a practical lesson or workshop from someone new. And so those have been really enriching and beautiful. And then on Saturday mornings, we have an optional component where I've brought in a range of kind of holistic health teachers, ritual makers, and things like that, who can help us stay in balance. Because a lot of the time, creativity is something that we put pressure on for ourselves, especially if we feel like we have a short container of time. And I want this work to be sustainable for you. And so this way you can find ways to be inspired, but also maintain kind of that sense of level as you work through. And so we'll do that about 9 times, so for about 9 weeks. And at the end of that program, we'll continue to meet about once or twice a month on Sundays to check in with each other about our work, have tea together, chat, what have you. One thing I forgot to mention is that every other Wednesday, one of our members and one of our members in the original cohort, Therese, is going to be hosting a co-working session. So for a few hours on Wednesday afternoon, if you're in Solstice Synergy and you want to dedicate some time, you can always join that Zoom call. We'll have music playing. We'll check in with each other about our goals. And then at the end, we'll see how far everyone got with what they were working on, kind of like study hall. So, yeah. Does anyone have any questions kind of about the format for the schedule?
Do you offhand know what time like the meetings are on Sundays, Mondays, and Thursdays?
Yeah, I do. So I think Sundays, let me double check on Sunday because I can't remember if I said 1 p.m. or 2 p.m., but it will be Sunday afternoon, either 1 or 2. And then Thursday, Monday and Thursday will both be 5 p.m. Can you see that? I don't have my glasses on. What time? Okay, 2 p.m. on Sundays. Thank you. And 5 p.m. on Mondays and Thursdays. All times are Pacific. So I'm in LA, and so we're gonna use my time zone. And so yeah, let me think if there's anything. Oh, and then on Saturday mornings it's 10 a.m. Pacific. So that will give us kind of a good start to our weekend before we kind of move into whatever else we're doing with our free time. Do you have any questions?
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Okay, how did you come up with this whole program? What's your vision for this?
I'm bipolar. I no, like yeah, like diagnosed. And I was having a lot of energy and motivation last fall. And instead of making poor choices, I actually had just started working with Everest Asher. I don't know, I think a few people are on the Bruno report here. And Everest talked a lot about being empowered in your mood and being able to make positive changes even if you're in one state or another. And I was really inspired by some of her courses on starting your own business and on being a little bit more, stepping into your divine gifts, essentially. And so I filled up, I have the notebook right here, filled up an entire notebook in about 2 days of exactly how the class was going to look. The name came to me before anything else did, and it just felt right. I haven't changed the curriculum. It's worked like from the first day I wrote it down, and it worked super well for the folks that were in the course. And so this has been like a growing process for my practice in engaging with the different moods that I face as a creative and as a professional, and being able to really generate during times of higher energy, and then being able to kind of find appreciation for myself and know that I've set myself up for success when things are a little bit lower. So I try to be pretty open about my personal life with people in Solstice. It's part of being authentic. So if they're not here now, they'll hear about it early on in the course. So yeah, it was just kind of something that I came up with one day. And I started sharing, I think with Sydney actually, right around the time that I started thinking of these ideas, and she was kind of just like, go for it. Like there's no reason not to try. And so I ran the program with I think 3 participants last time, just to keep it really small as kind of a test group. And I also wanted to make sure that everyone got enough attention from me, since it was the first time I was doing this. And there were some things I learned along the way, but mostly it was like, how do I want my Zoom room set up? Or, I have to like do my presentation slightly differently. But everything else felt really like just real. I don't know. Thanks for asking. Yeah. Does anyone have any other questions?
Yeah, can I ask another one?
Sure.
So for the Sunday, Monday one, what is like what would it typically look like? Like, are you guiding? Like, are we doing stuff at the same time? Are we working on projects during that? Or are we sharing projects? Or can you just talk about like what that might look like?
Totally. So it's kind of like group coaching, I would say, but we use a topic of discussion to kind of start off our meeting. So for example, week 1 is who we are. So everyone will introduce themselves, everyone will talk about their art, but we'll also kind of start, like the assignment that week would be to draft an artist statement. And then you, ideally, if you feel comfortable, would put it in Slack in kind of an assignment feed in Slack for the summer cohort. If you don't feel comfortable sharing in Slack, you'll have a partner, and you can review with your partner and kind of both give gentle feedback to one another about the artist statement. But also there will be a component of, in 9 weeks, what will this statement look like? And kind of like almost a manifestation way of, if I had unlimited resources as an artist, this is what my artist statement would look like as well. The following week is articulating the object. So it's taking a piece of your work that you've already made and kind of writing an artist label for it, presenting that work to the group. But then the follow-up assignment is, it's a throwaway concept. And so what that means is you write down your budget, you write down the materials you would use, you write down the theory behind the work, you might even sketch out a study if it's a painting or something like that, but you're not going to make it. It's just an exercise to kind of get the gears moving and to get you to really understand what it is that you make and why you make those things. And so there's journaling, there's sharing, there's me talking a little bit about art, but it really is kind of like however many people are in the group way street. where we kind of all bounce off of each other. But like, there's some really fun questions later down the line, like, what do you think is ugly? What do you think is beautiful? And we really dive into like how that impacts our relationship as creators with ourselves, but also like with the way that we look at other people's work too. So there's some also development of your eye as an observer that happens too. And so my goal is to help you change the way you make art, but also change the way that you engage with creative culture. So, yeah. Let's see, any other cues for me?
I'll ask another one if someone else doesn't.
Ask as many as you'd like. I don't mind at all.
So is it okay to not have like formal training in art and not really know what you're doing?
Totally. Absolutely.
Okay.
One of my most successful clients in the last course was a chef, and her creative making is the food that she made, and she developed a line of products that are now going into production in factories. And she's got her brand down, she's got her name, but she also sent us all little samples of her products, and that was her final presentation. And we also, tested the food, and then we put in specific feedback on her crit about each thing that we had tried out. So you don't have to be like an artiste necessarily. It's pretty much for any woman who decides that she wants to step into her creativity in a little bit of a different way. So like, hairdresser counts, like anything where you're creating, right? I don't know how much this would work for an accountant, but if that accountant had decided to go take pottery classes and really wanted to like become a potter on the weekends, then come join. I think it's like not exclusive to artists. I'm not exclusive to artists.
I feel like an accountant could still get something else.
Probably.
Not necessarily for their exact business model, but like as an individual, I think.
Yeah, totally. I think it's also like a lot of inner work that happens. I don't like calling it that because that's intimidating. I feel like there is like a lot of relational shifts with the self that happen. Aubree, do you have any questions?
I don't have any questions. I was just gonna make a comment, and I was just gonna say I've also been diagnosed as bipolar, like by every therapist, psychiatrist I've been to, not therapist, psychiatrist.
My dogs are trying to impress RJ.
I've always refused to look at it as like a bad thing, because I feel like life just has like a duality to it naturally, and I didn't want to ever like numb that out into just like one straight line. So I also try to use like my manic stages in the best, healthiest way to get stuff done but not go off the rails. So I just wanted to say I understand, or I see where you're coming from with that. I totally agree.
I appreciate you saying that. Thank you.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's only bad because people make it seem bad, but I don't feel bad.
yeah.
Even when I'm depressed, I feel fine. It's just the way that my body and my mind work.
Yeah, I agree.
Plenty of other people have different ways their minds work. I don't know. It just be that way. Let's see. Sydney, you mentioned a couple of days ago that you were considering upgrading to a participant, and I'm wondering like what made you feel that way, and what your kind of thoughts are as someone who's kind of considering the next level for your projects.
Well, I was thinking that because I kept getting your newsletters in my email, and I was like, this sounds really fun. And I've gotten to like hear or like maybe see people post on Bruja about like joining. So like I'm seeing that there's going to be more people. And I think that I almost did the first round, but I think I got intimidated by how small of a group it was, and I felt really overwhelmed with my day job. So the thought of just having like a small 5-minute homework assignment just like put me over the edge there. But I feel like right now, like I'm a little bit more like steady in that, and so I was thinking that it might be nice to have like a regular like online cohort group meeting. And I also have several creative things that I have had on my to-do list for a long time. And so, yeah, I think that for me, like, yeah, getting overwhelmed with like too much to do or like pressure is what keeps me from like jumping in, I think. But that's its own kind of block to get through, I guess. So yeah, I'm thinking about it. Part of me wants to do it, and part of me is like, I'll watch all the lives again. So we'll see.
The lectures were great, and I didn't have to do
Yeah,
anything.
yeah, my favorite podcast ever. And yeah, are you going to keep making your podcast?
Yes. So the way that that's going to work is I'm waiting about 4 weeks after the live events with guests to make the podcast. I want to encourage people to get their guest passes, to come in person. And I also know that like there's a lot of visual components to the work that matter quite a bit. And so while a podcast is great to listen to passively, I just want to leave a window of space for people to engage with it visually as well. And for the guest passes, or the guest talks, I always have them up as resale on the website. So for the full video experience, minus like the interactive coaching component, that is available usually for I think like $10 or $11 if someone wants to follow up on a specific artist talk. And then I'll wait about a month, like I said, and it'll go up as a free talk on the Spotify. So I have a podcast called ART+. This is kind of part of it. This is ART+WINE. So this will go up on the podcast. You know, I do other events like ART+Magic on the Bruja Report. And I hope to kind of continue to expand what you know, my different offerings as ART+ X, Y, and Z. And so all of that programming ends up on the podcast as well. So if there's someone that you kind of want to give an entry point to this work, then the podcast is always going to be a great place to start. And if any personal information is shared, like I know Aubree, you just shared with us a little bit, I'll always like edit that out, unless it's stuff that I'm sharing with my audience. But okay. Well, in any case, like I can always cut audio in different ways and find what works for us circumstantially. So yeah, let's see. My first podcast episode is really funny because no one came to Art and Wine that night, and so I just talked about the crown and how the British monarchy are like art thieves. And I was like getting progressively tipsier, and it's like a 30-minute lesson. It's pretty funny. But I'm just like, if someone wants to laugh for a bit about art, that's a good entry point. Yeah, cool. Well, thank you for sharing, Sydney, about your.
Yeah, I was gonna say also another reason why was because of your like wellness days, and I've been hearing about some of the things that you have planned, and I want to come. So
Pull up my wellness offerings. I will share. I'm going to share the guests with our group after the 21st, but I'll talk to you about wellness stuff if I can figure out how to bring that up so I can see it. So it's going to be really exciting. The first workshop we do on Saturday is going to be like kind of a partner bonding experience. I was kind of saying that this summer is totally like virtual summer camp for art women. And so we'll be doing some bonding stuff and kind of figuring out, I don't think I'm going to assign partners. I want to do some type of compatibility exercise with everyone so that we can kind of collectively decide on our partner work. The following, we're going to be having a Solstice member who's redoing this round and was in our original round, Chantel. She's also a Bruja, if you know her. I think she referred Katherine to the group. And she is, she's an incredible writer. She wrote a few books in the last 6 months as a result of this program, but she's also a meditation coach. And so we're going to do a meditation workshop. I have a friend who's a gardener, and I'd like her to teach a little plant workshop. So we'll see if that works out. It's Sydney. And then I have another really good friend who does body work. She also makes remedies. She has a cannabis salve that she's offering right now. And so she is going to share something with us about kind of like medicinal self-care, staying in alignment, things like that. We're going to have a workshop about pelvic integrity and creativity and working from an aligned pelvis and an integrated pelvis. And so I'm very excited about that one. The healer that we have coming in for that is a really talented pelvic healing coach, but she's also a witch, so she kind of brings in that element as well. We're having group Reiki. We are having a workflow workshop on how to maintain sanity when you have a bunch of shit to do. We are having a couple. It's the only man, I promise, the only man that we're gonna have. So we're having a couple, and they live together in Florida. And one of the women, she was a speaker last cycle. She makes jewelry. She makes really cute beaded jewelry. She lives with her partner, and he makes pottery and apparel. And so we're going to hear a little bit about what it means to be artists in love and how they're able to create and cultivate their love all in one space, kind of how that dynamic works out. And then the final week, we're going to do food workshop. And that is going to look like each person kind of doing a potluck for everybody. And so we're going to share a meal together and possibly do some food ritual around that as well. And we can kind of all bring to the table what we eat when we need to create. So that's the wellness component. And I'm very excited about that part. It was kind of the missing link that didn't exist in the first cycle. And that definitely was like my breakthrough that clicked when I was organizing the summer session. So, yeah. All right. Well, if no one has any more questions, so Katherine, do you have another question? No? Okay. Sydney, do you have another question at all? No? Okay, cool. Well, it was really lovely to have you all here. Like I said, enrollment closes on Monday. I was gonna do a giveaway if there was anyone here who's not already enrolled, but I don't see anyone who's not enrolled. I was gonna give a whole spot away. So if you want to nominate someone for a spot, whoever emails me first about that or messages me on Slack about someone, I will give a spot away to any of the folks that are here. Sydney, if you want to upgrade, you can do that right now, but you don't have to. So, but yeah, that option is available. I want to give away one free spot this cycle, and I did that last time, and it worked out really well. I was very proud of the person who took on that role. Excellent. I also wanted to mention, before I forget, we have a member ambassador this time around. So she's going to be taking the course. Her name is Sarah. And so she is going to kind of be like there for you if you need anything. And so she's going to be doing some of the admin stuff, sending out emails, but she'll also be in Slack a little bit more than I am. And she's going to kind of just be your go-to because the program is a little bit bigger this time. I want to make sure everyone has what they need. And we also have a work study student this time around named Selena, and she'll be helping with a few things like that as well. So if you don't see my name, you'll see Sarah or Selena's name, and I just don't want that to be a surprise to anyone. We work very closely together, and everyone's going to be on the same page. So, thank you so much for coming. I hope everyone has a great rest of their Friday night. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, nice meeting you guys.